How do you get around the problem that was expressed by David Grossman there? You want to appeal to those traditional voters, the people who've defected to UKIP, but you've got to get some more affluent voters from the south as well. How do you get both of them?
I know from the seat that I represent in Leicester, where we've had a challenge from UKIP, that we need to really regain trust of those voters. But I also know, because of where my family and I grew up in Watford, that we've also got to win back those seats. And actually what my constituents and my own family want, I think, is the same thing. They want a chance of a good job and a decent home and to get on in life. They believe in work and responsibility and looking after their family. And that's how we've got to reconnect with people in future, by starting where they are, what they want for themselves and their families, and actually to say, you know, we've got to help people face the future with confidence and not fear, and that is the real challenge for us now.
On the campaign that we've just been through, one account of what went wrong for Labour might be that the voters didn't get Labour and what it was trying to do and what its pitch was, and the other would be that Labour didn't get the voters and what they want. Which side of that divide
that we didn't get the voters?
You didn't get the voters. Can we go through some questions that Labour struggled to answer in the campaign, and just see whether you can answer them now?
I'll do my best.
Do your best. I mean, one of probably the hardest one. The hardest one was Ed Miliband being asked, did Labour spend too much in the 2000s? Just getting the narrative of what went wrong in the 2000s. What was your answer to that?
I think that we were spending too much before the crash, but we did not cause the financial crisis. That was global. And actually, I think what really concerned people was that we seemed too slow to really face up to the challenge. I think that's true in 2010 and in 2015, that we needed to balance the books and live within our means. And that was the real problem, and that was the real reason why people didn't trust us on the economy.
Let's take another one. I mean, Peter Mandelson said the party looked like it hated the rich. One of the proposals in the manifesto was to raise the top rate of tax from 45 to 50p. Mm-hmm. The official advice from the Office for Budget Responsibility is that that raises piffling amounts of money. Let's call it zero money, £100 million or something. Mm. Would you support raising the top rate of tax, even if it doesn't really raise any money?
I don't think that should be permanent. I think we needed to do that as part of our process of dealing with the deficit. But look...
No, but if it doesn't raise money, it's not dealing with the deficit. So that's why...
Well, there's different views about that, Evan.
Yeah, but let's just go with the official view for the moment.
You know there's different views about that.
No, there are, but let's just go with the official view. If the official view could... If the OBR could persuade you that there's no money in it, would you say, let's not put it up?
Well, listen, I want to see a fair tax system, and I think I don't believe in having that.
We all want a fair tax system.
I do, and that's why I think that we were putting that forward. I don't think that should be permanent. But the real challenge, Evan, the real challenge for the future is not just...
I think you're trying to dodge the question. The question is, if it's not going to raise money, why would you put it up? Now, there are people who say, let's just put it up, because we want to show everyone the rich are paying more. And there are others who would say, let's not if it's not raising money.
Look, my position is, if you're raising taxes, it should be to pay for things that we need to grow the economy in future. And you know, Evan, the big challenge for the future is not just about the current fiscal position. It's going to be about productivity. It's about making sure there are jobs and growth in every part of the country. And for me, it's going to be about keeping our place in Europe. Those are the big challenges of the future. I don't believe in taxing just for the sake of it. Right. I want a fair tax system, but we've got to focus on the future, on 2010.
No, I understand. And
that's what we didn't convince people about. We didn't convince people. Look, the world is changing faster than ever before. That is opening up amazing opportunities for some people. But as you saw in that piece, it's leaving far too many people behind. And you can either be a party that tries to blame others for the challenges we face. You can be a party that leaves people on their own. You can do what I think New Labour and Old Labour did too much, which is to try and claim you can solve all the problems from Whitehall, or you can do what I believe we need to do, which is to get power into people's hands and unleash the amazing talent in this country.
But I do want people to know exactly where you stand on some of the issues that I know divide the Labour Party. So
let me say this.
Revenue-less tax rises is one.
If we can take a step
you're
back
trying to
now.
avoid these. OK,
we can take a step
very
back
briefly,
now.
and then I'll give you some more questions.
I genuinely believe that we need to take a profound look at who we are and what we're for if we're going to make people understand that we can change our party to change the country. I don't have all the answers. I want to lead a team of people who can come forward
Well,
to
I
that.
know, but
we need that
people need to know where you come from. No, let me ask some more. Let me, please, I've given you a good statement.
You have, but let me say, if the BBC had lost its viewers in so many parts of the country, would you immediately say that's the answer?
No, but I would be interested in hearing what different views were. So
you would also be interested in listening
Look
and
at the other end of the
people
scale.
about it.
The benefit cap. Now, the benefit cap on individuals' households appears to be quite popular when you ask voters whether they like it or not. It affects some very big families, and some voters say, well, they shouldn't have so many kids if they can't afford to have them. What is your view on capping the amount of benefits that an individual household can get?
I think it's right to say that, if the people who are working need to be able to get on in life, and that you shouldn't be able to, you've got to make sure that people who are working are earning enough to live on, and that people feel very unfairly that if people are getting that money and that, and that's not what they get when they're working hard. I know in my own constituency that people felt really strongly that they were working very hard and not making enough to get
You haven't quite answered the question. I don't think.
I do
but you do believe in the
I
benefit
do.
cap. Yeah. I mean, one of the things you've said is that you believe in Labour being a party to unleash the talents of people and such like, and it's about hard work, wanting to get on and doing the right thing. I think you've used all of those phrases. What, in your view, should Labour do about people who don't work hard, who don't particularly want to get on and don't do the right thing and end up relying on the state?
I think that too often the state has ended up doing things to and for people, and it hasn't focused on unleashing their potential. And that's what we've got to do. I mean, the reason that you and I and many other people have got on in life is because we've had a great education. We've got the skills, the knowledge, the chances, the choices. We've got the networks and the contacts. You and I have got that. That's why you and I will be okay whenever there's a recession. I want that for everybody, people in my constituency who are really struggling, and for those in areas where I grew up. I think it's really important that we understand tackling inequality is about helping those at the bottom, but all the way up, and that's what we've got to do.
Can I ask another litmus test question? This is about health. Now, Andy Burnham, who was Shadow Health Secretary, made quite a lot. Still is, yes. Made quite a lot of trying to reduce the role of the private sector in the NHS, capping the profits, limiting the role of the private sector. Do you share the view that if a private company can do a hip heart transplant, say, at lower cost than an NHS provider, you should still go with the NHS provider?
I don't believe contracting out vast chunks of the NHS to the private sector is the way we're going to make the reforms of the future. I do believe it has a role in innovation, which we need within the NHS. But the big challenge for the NHS is to shift services out of hospitals into the community and towards prevention. And crucially, you and I and other people watching this are all going to have to do more ourselves to stay fit for longer as we live for longer. That's going to be better for us and better for taxpayers.
Let me ask just one last one. RMT members have voted to go on strike against Network Rail over pay. It may be over the bank holiday weekend. It may not happen if they can come to a deal. Whose side are you on in that dispute, the Network Rail or the RMT?
I believe in partnership. It's always with you. Is it one or the other?
Don't we all?
No. I think it's a really important thing. I believe in the role of our trade unions. I believe in partnership because good businesses know that they do best with employers who are engaged.
But sometimes it does come down to, doesn't it? It comes down to this lot want that, we want that, and you have to make a binary choice between the two, don't you?
Have you never had a negotiation with your job?
Actually, I don't think I have. But I mean, I'm asking you, not about me. I mean,
the best way to get forward is through negotiation and
but what about
partnership.
strike action on a bank holiday weekend?
I think that's going to be really tough for people, and I hope it doesn't happen.
Do you think Labour can go back to someone on the right of the party, such as yourself? Do you think the party, the activists...
Why do you put me on the right of the party?
Because I think the answers to the questions, when we read between the lines, would position you on the right of the party.
I don't believe that.
You don't believe you're on the right of the party?
No, I tell you where I believe we've got to go back to our roots as a party. We came out of ordinary people coming together to help themselves and one another. We came from that mutual cooperative.
Right.
And that's where I need to go back to, because it was about helping people take power and control and responsibility over their own lives. But we only do that if we work together. That's where I want to go back to. But the key thing for us is, if we're going to win in 2020, we have got a mountain to climb. And we're going to have a fresh start, I think, to
Liz
take us
Kendall,
forward.
thank you very much
Thank
indeed.
you.